Hello everyone and welcome to How Good Is or How Good Are, because there's two characters. We're going to talk about Iroha&Ui today, and I've got to tell you something already in case you don't want to go through this entire video and just want to get a very quick overview of these two characters. I know I've often said that I don't like Iroha, I don't like Ui, both gameplay wise and as just story characters. But the thing is, this is what I'm about to say is basically the general consensus of basically the entire Japanese community. This unit is bad. This unit is not good. But let's get into it, into the long version on why this unit is seen as not that good. But you know what? Maybe the entire Japanese community is just wrong. Maybe the community is actually really good. We'll have to check it out. So after gacha, so we see that of course we have them, and you have these two Memoria that we're gonna have to take a look at in a bit. So they are indeed a heal type. They're the first light type Excel Gorilla. That's really important because of course, as you all know, we're in the Magia meta. So playing towards the Magia meta with having many Excel discs is really good. And I mean, they're the first light type Excel Gorilla. That's really awesome in itself. Now they are heal type. And usually I don't talk too much about types because it's like, okay, whatever. If you're an attacker, you're probably a blaster. You don't care about MP anyway. And if you're a support or a Magia, you're probably going to go to Magia and you're going to have the best Magia bonuses. There is this table right here that shows it. So if you're a Magia or support type, you get 120% MP from attacking. So 20% more than standard, and heal and attack both only get 100%, and if you are like a defense you get basically nothing. So this is why Magia and support types have a really easy time of getting to Magia just by being those types. But we can already see that because they're heal type, they're already missing a 20%, which is quite a lot actually, MP modifier, just because they're heal type. You might see, oh, but if they get attacked, they get quite a bit, like they get even more than support if they get attacked. But here's the thing, getting attacked gives you like basically no MP, it gives you like, what, like 4 MP in PvE if you get attacked. I don't even know if that ticks up to 5, it probably does tick up to 5 if you get attacked, which is like 1 MP more every time you get hit, basically nothing. So this is something that we all need to keep in mind, because I'm gonna have to show you guys something crazy at the end of this, but keep that in mind for now. I will say though that even though they're heal type and they do have a lot of heal, how do you actually play them? Well, I'm going to show you later, but I can already tell you you're playing them basically as a support, so the heal type might actually be a little bit misleading. They do have a personal, it's redraw discs, which is good. It's a good personal to have, nothing else to say about it, it's good, it's good. Their stats are alright, they have pretty alright stats, they have decent attack, while still having a decent amount of defensive stats, so yeah, their stats are also looking pretty well. Nothing to say about the stats other than, yeah, they're also pretty good. Then if we look at the connect, it gives attack up, it gives HP restore, it gives damage cut, and it gives remove stealth aimants. We see that there's 3 defensive aspects of this, and an attack up. The attack up at least is fine. If it wasn't here, I'd be really sad, and this would definitely be a terrible unit, but with the attack up here, you can at least do some offensive stuff with it. But it also removes stealth aimants, which can be interesting sometimes, most of the time not though, because you'd rather not your characters even get a status ailment. You'd rather negate status ailments before they actually get to you, but we'll get to that in a second. And the HP restore, of course, is fine. They're a heal type, so of course they would heal, right? Overall, if you're playing a defensive setup where you're trying to just stall, like if you're playing a stalling team, which you probably would if you're playing a heal type specifically for the healing aspect, for the defensive aspect, then yeah, definitely playing some defensive stuff is pretty good. And this is a really defensive, a good defensive connect. Just does not a whole lot on offense. If looking at the Magia and Magia 2, we see that it gives attack up to all allies, which is good. This is why you're playing them as a support. And usually when we talk about playing as a support, what I mean is that this unit themselves doesn't really do that much damage, or doesn't really worry about winning themselves. They are more so worried about buffing other units to then kill for them. For example, in my team, I usually play Mikage together with also Maruka, and I mean, they're both kind of supporty, but it's more so Mikage being the support, buffing up Ultimate Madoka so that Ultimate Madoka can use her Magia and just destroy everything in one shot, and that's usually my playstyle. So yeah, in that sense, Mikage is the support on that team, and if you play Iroha&Ui and you're using their Magia, you are supporting your entire team by buffing their entire attack, which is really good. You always want to have at least someone who can buff attack on your team, and they also buff defense, so we also once again have that defensive aspect. And they also heal, they negate stealth aimant. This is a really good supportive heal, or like supportive but also defensive Magia to have. So if you're playing, for example, a Madoka team, like regular Madoka, a double Madoka for example, or Madoka Kako, where usually you want to have the heal from their, right, Madoka's Magia doesn't heal, but Kako's Magia heals, and Madoka's Magia makes Homura sad because she's together with Kako, and don't let her see that. But Madoka's Magia gives damage cut. Damage cut is really important to keep surviving for really long. This does both. It both heals and gives you defensive, so you can stay alive for longer. So in that sense, it's pretty darn good, right? And the attack up means that you can actually still do some offensive stuff. Awesome, that actually looks pretty good. And we also have the negate status aimant, also really good. Now here's where it gets sad, because if we look at the Doppel, we see that, oh, the attack up, still 3 turns, barely better. The defense up, only still 3 turns, barely better. HP restore, it's better by 0.5, no, actually not by 0.5, only by a handful of percent better. That's bad, that's really bad. Negate status aimants, hey, this one is better. This one gives 3 stacks of negate status aimants instead of just 1 stack. So in case for the next 3 turns you get hit by 3 status aimants instead of 1 on a single character, then this would be good. Why would you ever use Magia 2 on this character, or Doppel on this character, instead of regular Magia? I thought we were making characters, like if you look at the last few characters that were created, even going all the way back to Miko and maybe even John, if you look at all these characters, they have way better Doppels than Magias, and I thought, hey, maybe now going forward, every single character is going to have a way better Doppel than Magia. But guess what? No, this Doppel is actually terrible compared to the Magia. It does barely anything new. The only thing comparatively better that it does is it protects you from 3 stars aimants, which is not going to even be important that often to protect from 3 stars aimants in 3 turns on a single character instead of just 1. Like, this is going to be a lot more useful most of the time. So, not to just mention, if you use Magia faster, you can get like 2 stacks of this and also double of all of these buffs, double the heal. Wow, that's way better. But since the MP nerf has happened, you can't really Magia spam anymore. If you could Magia spam this Magia right here, hey, Iroha would actually be really good. But guess what? Magia spamming is no longer possible because of the MP nerf. So, since you can't Magia spam, you're basically going to double most of the time. Not because you want to, but because the game kind of just gets you there. And because of that, you're using a double that isn't that much better than Magia, wasting a lot of MP. But at least they're gonna have an easy time getting MP, right? Like, it doesn't matter if they waste a whole bunch of MP on a Doppel that isn't that great, because they're an Excel type, they're gonna get a lot of MP, right? If you look at the Spirit Enhancement, we see no MP node and no Excel node. They get chance to evade, they get status aimant resistance up, which is fine, they get 2 Magia damage up nodes, okay, you're not using them for damage, but they can do some damage, so it's actually fine. They get anti-Magia seal, anti-curse, I mean, this is good. They get blast damage up, okay. They get regenerate, they get dark attribute damage cut for the entire team, 10% for 5 turns. Hey, it's actually pretty alright if you're going into a dark type battle. And their active gives everyone light attack up for 3 turns and regenerate HP for 3 turns, which is nice for healing. So it's basically Kako's heal circle together with an attack up if they're light type. They have no MP up. They have no Excel up in here. Like, MP gain over 100 doesn't even count anymore because you basically get to double almost immediately anyway if you get up over 100. So we're looking at someone who actually has a pretty decent Magia for support, but Magia chaining has been nerfed, which also nerfed all the other heal types, by the way, like Kako and Madoka. They've been nerfed into the ground, well, maybe not into the ground, but they've been nerfed pretty hard by the MP changes as well. And now we have the chance of creating a heal type character that actually does have a really good Doppel over Magia that can now carry the torch of the heal types forward into the future, but they didn't. The Doppel is still terrible. But like I said, hey, they're Excel types, so they're gonna have a really easy time of getting to Magia, right? So it doesn't matter that they're gonna waste a bunch of Magia, getting to a bunch of MP, getting to a Doppel that isn't that great, right? Right? No. So that's... I have an example of this. So yesterday I was playing the event and I had a support Iroha&Ui, and they were on 20 MP in the battle. They had the, how much is it, like 12.5% or whatever, or 17% Excel up from the Madoka Mei active. Like, Madoka Mei active gives everyone a bonus to all discs, so they had that. They started on 20 MP. They got an Excel combo with all 3 of their discs. They got all 3 of their discs. I'm going to show it on screen probably right now if I do my editing correctly. They start with 20 MP at the turn. They get the 20 MP bonus for it being an Excel combo. They are at 40. They do 3 attacks. They do all 3 of their Excel discs. 3 of their own Excel discs. What do they end up at? They go from 40 with those 3 discs to 86? To 86? And they already have the MP bonus from Madokami? What? Actually, what? I compared that to, and I'm going to show this on here. You know, you have other characters that are very similar to this. Look at that, it's a support type with 3 Excel discs. I know it's a support type which already gives her 20% MP, but guess what? She can also heal. So, this character can also heal, right? But she gets 20% more MP because she's classified as a support type, not a heal type. And you would play her very much the same. You'd play Nemu the same way that you play Iroha&Ui. Is you get to Magia, you keep people alive with your connect while getting to Magia, and once you're at Magia, you buff your entire team, keep them alive, and using both, well, that keep alive part and the attack part, you kill your opponent over a bunch of turns. And she can't stall as well as Iroha&Ui, but still, she plays very much the same as Iroha&Ui, very much the same. And guess what? Because she's a support type, she gets not only 20% more MP because of her type, she also gets an Excel MP adapt in here, which, you know, Iroha&Ui doesn't get, so she already has 15% more than that. You know how much of a difference that makes? Well, I can't show it to you immediately with Nemu, but I have another character who is very much the same, who is also a support type, Excel Gorilla, who also gets a 15% Excel MP gain up. So I'm gonna just act like this is Nemu that I'm using right here, because I know I use Mikage a lot, but it basically also applies exactly the same way to Nemu. So if I do the exact same thing with Mikage, well, guess what? I don't even need to do the exact same thing with Mikage. So in this next clip that I hopefully am going to edit into the screen right now, we are in a very similar situation. Ultimate Madoka already also used her active, so we also have the Excel MP gain bonus on Mikage, so we are on even ground. However, I didn't draw all 3 Mikage discs, so we're going to do an Excel combo with only 2 of Mikage discs. So instead of getting all 3 discs for Iroha&Ui, we're going to get 2 discs for Mikage. And not just that, Mikage starts on 15 MP and not 20, so she's gonna have 5 MP less. So everything is stacked against Mikage. Absolutely everything is stacked against Mikage. You know how much MP she actually ends up on with just 2 Excel discs and starting on 5 MP less? You know how much MP she ends up on? 95. Ouch! And like I said, you can just stand in Nemu right here. And I want to put Nemu right here because Nemu plays very much the same way. Like, Mikage plays a bit different than Iroha&Ui, but Nemu plays very much the same. And this right here that I just did works exactly the same with Nemu. Nemu also would go from 15 to 95 in this exact setup. And she plays the same. She also has a heal placed towards buffing with Magia while stalling a little bit. Just with 2 Excel discs, starting on 5 MP less, they get so much more MP than Iroha&Ui do with all 3 of their discs. That's kind of terrible. That's actually goddamn awful. And that is the main reason why Iroha&Ui are nowhere near as good as it might look on first glance, because they actually have trouble getting to Magia. They're an Excel Gorilla who has trouble getting to Magia because they have a bad type for Excel usage and they don't get a single MP bonus. Why do they not get an MP bonus? I don't understand this. You might say, but what about the other heal types? Madoka doesn't get an MP bonus and she's a heal type. Yeah, but she has MP restore on her Magia and on her Connect. So he doesn't need to worry about using Excels. What about Kako? Yeah, you're right, Kako has trouble getting to Magia, which is why you play her together with Madoka so that Madoka can give Kako the MP with MP restore. You kind of see how all of that is working out, with all of them giving MP to each other to actually get to Magia. And they also have Excel draw for the, like, of course, 20 MP from the Magia combo. So usually heal types, at least the other 2 important heal types, Madoka and Kako, they've cheated their way to Magias with MP restore. Iroha&Ui don't have that. They need to rely on their Excel discs, but their Excel discs are terrible. So I guess you could play her together with Madoka so that Madoka can pump MP into Iroha&Ui, and then it would actually work out. However, well, let's just play Kako instead. Like, why not? I mean, yeah, sure, she's like, they're more powerful right here than Kako. Yeah, definitely more powerful than Kako, right? But if you just want to stall, you can just stall with Madoka and Kako if you already have the Madoka. Just use Kako and you basically do the same thing. It's like, why draw for a limited unit to do something that's to better something that you can already do pretty well with a free-to-play character? It's not looking too great for Iroha&Ui, but guess what? They also have Memoria in their gacha. Maybe these Memoria are really good, and guess what? They actually are. So this is here Speranza Force. Speranza? I think this is supposed to be called Esperanza Force. Anyway, here's attack up, chance to crit, and defense up for 3 turns. Hey, this is actually a really good Memoria. On a blaster. Yeah, this is actually a really good Memoria on a blaster, because Excel characters don't care about crits too much. So, but blasters would really like this. But then again, blasters already have crit themselves, probably. Still, this is actually a pretty interesting Memoria, that if you have someone who is like an attacker type, like on an attacker type, this is really good. And then you also have this right here, the Miko Sisters Dance. Yeah, it's decent. It's actually a decent Memoria. It gives 20% attack up. You don't quite get the 25% that you kind of want to have, but still, the 5% that you give up on attack up, you get a damage cut and you generate HP. So, if you're playing any sort of team that tries to stall, or if you play a Magia team that you might think to yourself, well, my team is not defensive enough, you can give that on someone on your team who might not be defensive enough yet. Sure, it's actually pretty decent. So yeah, the Memoria are actually pretty decent. Nothing game-breaking, but they're pretty good. So overall, the general consensus, and like I said before that I don't really like Iroha&Ui that much, so if I just went into this saying they're terrible, people might just go, oh no, you're just biased. I know I am biased to some degree, but I've talked to people who play on Japanese server who are Japanese themselves and go on Japanese Twitter, and they told me, yeah, the Japanese players, like the consensus among them is that this unit just isn't that good gameplay-wise. They're just not good. But you know what also the consensus is on the Japanese side? Is that they're very gay. And if you've watched the transformation, yeah, the transformation is, oh my god, so goddamn gay. But yeah, this is basically about this unit. Why don't they have MP bonuses? Why are they heal type? I can't understand why they heal type. But damn, it's biting them in the behind so much. It's biting them in the ass so much that they have such a terrible MP rate and they just can't get it up. They just can't get it up, guys. They just can't get it up. But in theory, like if they were a support type and had the 15% MP bonuses, like if they basically had the typing and the MP bonus from Nemu, they would actually be a really good unit. They would actually be a really good unit. Or if their Magia too actually was better than their Magia, which it isn't. So many weird decisions that make no sense. Like someone who plays on the, like someone who's in Japan, who's Japanese, told me that he just doesn't believe that the F4S developers have any idea what they're doing, because there must have been at least some person who would kick down the door of the meeting room and say, guys, this doesn't work. This unit just doesn't work. But you know what? I guess that didn't happen. So we just got them like that. Well, have that. Hope you guys hit that subscribe button, ring the bell, and I'll see you guys next time.